Hey, this is Matt from That Time We Woke Up in a Podcast and Had to Explain Manga, our heated adventures overanalyzing manga we find interesting, otherwise known as the Over Manga Cast. And this week, by popular demand, for some reason, we're reading more Solo Leveling, chapters 25 through 45. So go ahead and enjoy the episode? I don't know. Do whatever you want.
Hello everyone and welcome back to the Over Manga Cast. My name is Sam, and as always here at the top of the show we talk about our familiarity with the manga, or manhwa in this case, that we read this week. I haven't done much with it. I've got a group of friends that are real into this sort of manhwa, so I hear them talk about it occasionally, and that's really it. Jake, how about you?
I actually did do a little bit of extra reading outside of the podcast. I basically got as far as the Cerberus fight, and then a chapter or two past that was where I ended up falling off of it and not thinking about it again. For reasons that we'll get into later, because I actually kind of have an understanding of how I feel about this manhwa now, which I don't think I really had much of one before. Sort of a inconsistent was what I said previously, but I can sort of see the Matrix now.
How about you, Matt?
Yeah, so fun thing with our reading was I think last time I said I had read this before and we got to about where I dropped off last time. And I went into this reading assuming it was fresh, and it seemed like it until I got to the final chapter and I'm like, wait, no, this seems familiar. So I don't remember if I've read this or the plot point at the end is just something that got spoiled for me. I, for the life of me, cannot remember. So
All right, and Jay.
So I did end up reading ahead a little bit, as I discovered for this reading. So, I want to say that my previous opinion remains largely unchanged, unfortunately, regarding this. I happen to like other manhwa, so this was. I don't understand. I guess I don't understand. I like manhwa. This one perplexes me.
Well,
it's no
fortunately.
lookism.
It is
It's
no
not.
lookism, to be fair.
God, I need to actually read Lookism. It sounds wild.
It's really good. It is. I recommend.
Did we read two different things, Jay?
What, Lookism? I actually
Yeah.
enjoyed reading Lookism.
Oh, okay.
What?
Apparently it turns into the world's greatest boxing manga.
A little bit,
Well,
yeah.
it's no
Yeah.
Hajime no Ippo, so
Well,
Yeah.
that's true, yeah.
No, hold on. I got that wrong. It turns into Better Windbreaker because it's got actually good street fights.
well that's
That's a
not
very
really-
low bar.
it could be literally any street fighting manga and it would win that, so I don't really know what you're
Anyway, for the actual thing that we read this week.
Boy, it's almost as if it's not very memorable. We'll get into that.
Yeah, we have some suits in a corporate building doing basically a recap of what happened last time. Yeah, a bunch of dudes went into a dungeon. A lot of them died, except for two guys you thought would have been the only ones to actually die.
And unfortunately, somebody influential was one of the casualties, so it's gonna be a problem.
All right, so who actually got out of there alive? Well, there was that one D-rank guy, Yu Jin-ho, the twink. You mean like he's a svelte, effeminate man? No, I mean like he has no skills and just bought the best gear. Though he is also twink in body shape as well as the MMO term. Yes. All right, and who is the other guy? This E-rank loser, Jin-woo.
The guy who definitely didn't reawaken.
Definitely no.
The guy that survived the other unlikely incident that he should have never survived.
I'm so
Wow.
confused because literally every background character, the second they hear anything about our main guy, goes, "Oh, hell yeah, he reawoke. That must be what happened." Except they all say it in like, it couldn't possibly be a reawakening. I'm
How
like,
often does reawakening happen that people are like, "Oh no, it
Uh,
can't be that."
super rare.
it's rare enough that the reason why Jin-woo doesn't want anyone to know about it is because he would probably get carted off to a lab and never see the light of day again.
Mhm.
I see.
That's the reason why they're having that reaction of like when he was definitely E rank and everyone could tell he was E rank and he wasn't involved in crazy incidents, he was absurdly lucky. He constantly got hurt but never permanently damaged. So the fact that he's getting through these is weird. This isn't the kind of luck he used to have. This feels different, which is why they have the reaction of the most obvious thing is that he reawoken, but that's so rare. There's no way I am sitting here seeing this.
Mhm.
Like it's rare enough that they don't think that it would come across their desk,
I-
as it were.
I think there's also the implication that when reawakenings have happened before, it's been like a B rank person becomes an A rank. So
Or something like minor.
yeah,
Yeah, from
Jinwoo, or like he went from the weakest possible person to a person whose strength knows no bounds.
our reading section pretty definitively puts him in terms of his own independent power. He's pretty definitively definitely gone from E to B, but the reason why the reason why he's shocking so many people is he also has a whole bunch of MMO items that are further increasing his power, allowing him to punch way above his weight class.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody is shooketh to the extreme about this.
Because there's more than one occasion where he will do something and people think it is like a mundane spell, and it's like, wait, how are you casting spells? Your class can't do that, when it's actually an item he's using. Because friendly reminder, all of the system stuff that Jinwoo has access to, the specific readout of his stats, the items that he has been obtaining, and a whole bunch of other features that he has, is not normal. Nobody
Yeah.
else does that or has like the daily reward recovery thing. Nobody else has that.
He seems to be the only player of this MMO where everybody else is like randomly assigned
Everybody else
NPC
is
stats.
functionally an NPC, basically.
If
Yeah.
NPCs knew the skill system very intrinsically, basically.
Yes.
Because they do talk about like spells and skills for their classes.
Yeah, spells, skills, and classes are a thing, but like the way it seems to me is that like these are things that people have just like called it this, that, or the other. Like, what else would you call the like the
The
main
makes you
villain of
invisible
this?
move.
Yeah, like they're gonna call it stealth. Like the pop-ups are unique to Jinwoo.
So anyway, who is the important guy that died? Wang Dong Suk. Wang Dong Suk died. By God.
But he's got such a funny name.
By God, he's the younger brother of Wang Dong Su.
Wang Dong-su, one of the top hunters in America.
Yes. How top of a hunter is he? Well, we see him in his big fancy apartment.
And his fax machine.
In Washington, USA. And I can tell you right now, the skyline they show, I couldn't possibly tell you where this fucking city is, because it's not DC, the buildings are too tall. It's not Seattle, because the buildings are old and East Coast like facades. So it's weird. It's vague, wet, like East Coast nonsense.
It's
America.
Washington, America. What more do you need to know?
San Fran, Seattle, Washingtonia.
Yes.
Cityburg town.
Yeah. And we get the fun world building of hey, how much trouble would I get in if I murdered someone in Korea? Please don't. No.
No.
Please
Poor
don't.
secretary.
I mean, technically, the U.S. doesn't have an extradition treaty with South Korea right now for hunters.
But you are a US citizen, so they will charge you for the murder you do on other countries. Like,
Uh-huh.
which really, America's doing pretty well because they at least attempt to punish their S-class criminals. When we hear what Korea would do, they're like, yeah, basically the S-class has no laws. We just let them do whatever. And I'm like, ooh, that's not great.
They're literally uncontainable.
That's actually part of my I sort of have like two like critiques of solo leveling that sort of blend together into one like bigger issue with it. And one aspect is the world building, because quite frankly, if the series did anything with it, the idea that high rank hunters are so valuable and so rare, and the threat of high level dungeons appearing is so high that you can't like stop them, because then you'd be losing the one thing that will prevent waves of monsters from ripping your cities apart. That's an interesting potential world building element. Solo leveling is going to proceed to do jack shit with it, and it just kind of feels like it's a we don't want to address the fact that these people being as evil as they are would attract the ire of the authorities, so we're just going to say they're above the law. Like, honestly, solo leveling really does feel like a video game all the way down to its core, because there are a lot of cases where character and world building elements will be basically shoved to the side for the air quotes gameplay, the action scenes.
Mhm.
The world and the characters exist to set up set pieces.
The world building is treated as if you are actually just the guy that mashes A through all dialogue.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
Yes.
We also have the fun moment of Jin-woo having like just having some dinner with his sister, and he's like, I can't get drunk because the system has rendered me immune to all poisons. So what if I eat this bag of cool purple powder that I found that gives me damage resistance, but the poison side effect reduces my strength?
And he just gets the buff and not the debuff.
It did exactly the most beneficial thing it possibly could have.
This is where I started to clue into the reason why I enjoyed solo leveling. There's going to be more of this later, and the big moment where I'm like, okay, yeah, this is exactly what's going on, I'm going to point out. But this is all throughout this section. This is a power build. He's power building a character. Like, that's what the main
Yeah.
character is. And that's fun. I like power building characters in various systems. And that's one of the main core appeals of this. Like, basically, what this stands upon two legs. It stands upon the leg of action set pieces, which are fucking amazing. And it stands upon this is a character build in a system that, like, obviously we don't know what this system actually is. Like, there's a lot of unknown factors because it's not an actual game you can play, but like it has the vibe of power building a character, and it's enjoyable seeing, build choices as it were.
I find it kind of funny that it's so like glossed over, like, I can't get drunk. Powder. Nice. And
I'm
that,
just
and
saying,
like that's
desperate
it.
times take for desperate measures.
Interesting.
He's not desperate though.
Interesting.
He's
This
bored.
item gives me a benefit, but it comes with a drawback. But what if I just don't want a drawback? Wait, I can just continue to get hand jobs for the entirety of our reading? Well, better hope you like watching Jinwoo get jacked off the entire reading, because that's what we read. We read Jinwoo and the hand job factory.
Time to snort more power leveling powder.
That's what I'm gonna call it now. Power leveling powder.
Because I guess it's not a solo leveling plot line without a side thing about the construction industry.
Yeah, that does come up a weirdly high number of times, doesn't it?
I wish I could remember what the exact wording for it. Was he literally just offered a building as payment, and that's why they keep bringing up this 30 million won?
Yeah,
Yeah.
30
30
billion.
billion.
Yeah.
Billion, yeah.
Yeah, because Twink Man, Jinho, he's like, hey, listen, buddy, I need you to join a strike team with me for like 19 more dungeons. No, that sounds boring. Come on, please. No, listen, it's fine. We'll just get a bunch of jobbers to sit around you and I can go clear them ourselves. Why would I ever do that? Oh, wait, 20 S-rank dungeons. You want to become a guild master. Yeah, or my dad wants a guild that's just a subsidiary of our construction company. This seems like something that should be regulated, but it's not. And what's in it for me if I help you accomplish this? I'm going to give you real estate. Holy shit, that's a lot of money. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, the whole concern that Jinho has is they're going to make a guild as a subsidiary of the construction company to get materials for building, but he's like, they're going to hire an S rank adventurer or hunter or whatever the hell they call it in this setting. It's
It doesn't
basically
matter.
adventurer. They're going to hire an S rank, and the S rank is definitely going to do a hostile takeover at some point. It's really obvious, but my dad is not listening, so I'm going to be the guild leader instead. But I have to be I have to have a certain amount of experience before I can be a guild leader.
Which is amazing because Jin-Ho is going to do nothing to stop an S rank adventurer from doing whatever the fuck they want. Like,
Yep.
There is a level of step 1, step 2 question mark, step 3 profit, because
And the 30 billion won.
him being eligible to be a guild leader doesn't mean his father is going to pick him over someone who's, more effective at the job.
Yeah, and the 30 billion won is about roughly 21 million in USD. So pretty fancy building.
enough
Well,
for him.
it's an already constructed building and the land it's on top of, so.
Yeah. So Jinwoo's like, all right, cool. I will do it. And we'll get tons of money and we'll be super wealthy. And yeah, it'll be great.
Well, as he's considering it as well, he realizes he can go over his daily training regiment requirements.
He could do twice as much training as Saitama.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that is the Saitama training, isn't it? Wait a minute.
Yeah, he learned by accidentally running a little too far that he can double the training and therefore get more reward. Specifically the hidden reward of special key to secret dungeon.
I 100% we know we talked about this last episode, but the entire joke about Saitama's training regiment is it's not even that impressive to do.
Yeah.
So the fact that he had to do double of it to unlock Hell Tower is just like, I mean, sure, but
Yes.
the 20 kilometers of running is probably the hardest bit, but
Indeed. It's also very funny because he goes on the training run with his sister and very swiftly leaves her in the dust.
He laps her twice.
He leaves her so far behind that he finishes the 10 kilometer, goes the extra kilometer, realizes, I can go even further to get more benefit. All right, cool, let's keep going. Oh, okay, Jinwoo, I finally caught up with you. Oh, where the fuck are you going?
my god, my brother's really impressive now that the fact that he's grown 2 feet in height and his entirely different build.
Yeah, the fact that he's so much taller, because the manhwa actually calls attention to the fact that he's physically tall multiple times. I don't know what that's about.
He basically became a K-drama star, and I'm here for it.
You're not wrong. That explains it, actually. That answers the question.
I think it's that he's putting points into strength, and that's being represented in build.
It's changing his build, yeah.
Yeah. But he's also putting a ton of points into agility, so he's staying lithe instead of getting all bodybuildery.
Yeah, gotta maintain that figure, but definitely don't put any more in intelligence.
Don't put a single point more into intelligence, because that would be an interesting question about
about if that actually makes him, yeah.
And we're not gonna do that. We're gonna go back to the hand job factory. That's where Jin-Woo lives.
Oh, right, real quick before we move on too far. Wang Dong-soo was like, hey, secretary, what's my schedule look like? You're completely booked for the next 2 months. Damn, I guess I'll have to put off the funeral for my older brother and seeking bloody vengeance on these guys for 2 months. Well, don't get killed.
We've established when my boss fight is coming.
Yes.
But yeah, Jinwoo goes to the handjob factory, enters the Hell Tower, fights the Cerberus.
The fucking set pieces in this manga are amazing. I love this fight.
I hated this fight so much.
Yeah, because you have bad taste.
Yeah, because I don't just want to be fucking jacked off the entire time. But Jacob, don't you think it's a really interesting turning point in the fight that he just really should have considered that he should have been stronger? And then he was.
Well, that's also not an accurate representation of the fight.
That's a completely accurate representation
No, it's
of the
not.
fight. Yes, it is.
No, it isn't.
Oh
The
my god.
No, I've been picked by the god, and the god wouldn't pick me unless I was even better than their expectations. Better win now.
Yeah, that's what actually happens is he underestimates the Cerberus, gets badly damaged, and when he uses the recovery, this is what solo leveling does regularly. Uses the like full status recovery to like this is like a macro like storytelling thing. It allows Jin-woo to take massive damage, learning what the opponent's like trick is, and then he, recovers to full, and then he can counter what his opponent has done. Like he learns his opponent's moves in like the first bit of the fight, gets smacked into a wall, and then he
Learns that he
recovers.
can't hit them at all, and that his damage is ineffective because the opponent's too high level.
That does also happen with the Cerberus. It's just like
Yeah, honestly, the thing with the Cerberus is they want to move the plot along, so they do kind of end this fight really early. It's the next fight that does this thing better, but this is what's going on here is it's showing him like what the opponent can do. He recovers and then he's able to counter.
Yeah, he resets to the checkpoint.
Yeah, basically. Like a video game. Yeah, it's not a literal checkpoint, but it functions.
Yeah.
God, he's gonna get a save system at some point, isn't he?
Almost certainly. It is cool. I did find it very funny when he grabbed the Cerberus by the big canines and then
breaks
judo
its neck.
flipped it.
Yeah. Yeah, I really do feel like that's sort of the point where it ends quickly because it wants to move on to the next plot point. But when I initially read it from last time when we were doing the reading, oh, cool fight, that's all this is. It's just spectacle. But when I reread it the second time, I'm like, I thought this was longer. I could have sworn this fight was longer. No, it wasn't. It's just spectacle.
Yeah. So he levels up a bunch of times. He gets some.
He gets random items. Yeah, it's.
He mentions how he's very happy that the items he equips doesn't actually appear on his person.
That's later.
That comes up later. Yeah.
Which is important because the item he gets from this is the fucking hot
collar.
Is the hot topic spiked collar. Literally, you would never wear this. Except when you look at this, it gives +20 to his stats, which is an insane buff because he's got 60 and 80 and things. So
yeah, I'd be a hot topic twink.
Yeah,
for
this
that.
is. Yeah, it's like a 30% increase base stats, whatever that means.
For his sense and agility, which is good. It'd be really good to have such a huge buff to your sense and agility if you were about to fight an invisible assassin guy.
It's like, why are they showing this item? He doesn't wear this, and then 10 chapters later, it's like, by the way, I can invisibly wear equipment because this is just an MMO.
By the way, any downside to anything I would ever do doesn't actually matter because I don't want the handjob factory ruined.
Specifically, it's a Korean MMO because they want to maintain the drip. If this was a Western MMO, you would have that fucking Outlands leveling gear clown suit, and you would be happy with it because it gave you better stats. I don't care that it looks stupid. It's my best in slot. But we get a setup to our next arc with a very scruffy looking guy going to talk to a dude in a suit. He's like, 2 billion won. Kill these guys. 3 billion.
Oh yeah. There's a negotiation aspect, but this is here is villain. Have villain.
Yep. Villain with his inconsistent hair color. It's either shockingly purple or just kind of black.
Should we introduce who either of these characters are? No, let's start midway through negotiations so we can come back and explain what was actually happening here.
Yeah, this is actually a big part of, and there's another part that's more illustrative of what my problem is, but this is actually a part of the the other issue I have with solo leveling. The world building exists to facilitate cool action spectacle with nothing behind the eyes. So do the characters. That scene would work if I was invested in the characters, but I'm not, because they're cardboard cutouts that exist to make for pretty looking fights.
And
Like, this is supposed to build intrigue, but I'm not intrigued because they're not interesting.
the scene also shouldn't have been cut up the way it is, but it's because it's a webtoon. They needed a stinger for the beginning of the chapter, so they weirdly cut a flashback in. Well, I guess this must be taking place in medias res. And then
Yeah.
when they refer to it later, it's a flashback, but like
Well,
it's not enough information to actually like get attached to. So it's just
yeah, I think technically that that's not a flashback, that's actually real time, because that's happening at the same time as the Cerberus fight, and then the next day is when all the stuff happens. But again, the ultimate problem here is it's supposed to be building intrigue, but the characters do not carry that level of intrigue. And the characters in the world would have to be more fleshed out for this sort of thing to work.
But we start off our next arc with some practice sword fighting. A dude with one arm practicing against another.
He's the guy who lost an arm in the first.
In the first reading.
Yeah.
Yeah. The youngest looking old man in all of Korea,
Yes, that's
Mr.
accurate.
Song.
I also appreciate how they stylized him, because they really draw like emphasis to the fact that this dude lost an arm. Like, I could not
Yeah.
avoid that. I don't know if that's like purposeful or what, but it's like it's like the artist went out of their way to say this guy has only one arm.
Yeah, they show the empty sleeve a lot.
It was a little overkill for me.
I just love the setup for this, which is they're like, hey, you know that like horrible tragedy where a bunch of low-level people were thrust into a double dungeon and had like insanely high casualties and really should all be traumatized for life? We're just
Yeah.
gonna call them all back to work in a month later. Like
Yeah.
mental health is not even a consideration here. Like
Yeah, again, this is another one of those ones where it's like if the world was presented as desperate enough that you needed to do that, that would be one thing. But like people live normal lives and can just retire when they feel like it. So the situation is not that desperate. Like this is again, why were these people in particular called together anyway? That doesn't make sense. I don't think that ever is addressed or comes up in any meaningful way. It just kind of happens.
I think there's the weird implication that it's because they don't believe that Jin-woo hasn't reawoken, but they could only get away with that by bringing all of the double dungeon people back. But like, they can just do whatever the fuck they want, so I don't understand why they need the pretense. Like,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter. It's so we can get all these characters back.
Yeah,
who-
it's for the sake of getting the characters back together in one
Yeah.
place. The world is not fleshed out enough to have a good
It's
reason
like the
for
gang's
it.
all here.
The gang's all here. But guys, we have to set up the super cool moment that Sung will have, or that Song will have later, because the person he is training against is actually an S rank hunter. And it's like, why are you an S rank learning from a lowly hunter like me? Well, you see, I have incredibly high base stats, but absolutely zero tech. That's why I need to train. Fair enough.
In a series that had a more fleshed out world, that would actually, honestly, all of stuff would be really cool in a more fleshed out series.
Yeah.
Have you guys ever considered that we were in these MMO dungeons, but we can't gain any XP? Does that mean we're all NPCs?
I also, it's so weird because Song goes on this like long internal monologue of like, damn, I trained my entire life with the sword. I was dedicated to it from when I was a young man up until my twilight years here, you know, my ripe old age of 45. And I'm one of the best swordsmen out there. I can even go toe-to-toe with an S rank with a sword. Unfortunately, the awakening turned me into a fucking wizard, so I can't slash anything in a dungeon.
All of my real life skills are now useless. And it's presented as if it's going to go somewhere, which it doesn't.
It tries to go somewhere for like 2 pages.
Well, it gives him his pathos moment, but the way it's presented is as if there's going to be some world building reason for it, and I very highly doubt that it's ever going to get into that.
Yeah, but he sees Jinwoo and he's like, "Whoa, you've grown like 1.5 feet and gained tons of muscle mass.
And
What-
your leg still exists somehow. That's weird.
Yeah, what? Yeah, it was pretty crazy. My leg grew back. What do you mean?"
No, he kind of takes that in stride is the real insane thing. Like, it's
Yeah,
just
the
like,
fact that he doesn't press on this.
well, even later,
Jinwoo
he's
even like sadly looks at the empty sleeve and he's like, "Ah, don't worry. It's better that the miracle happens for a young blood like you."
and even later, Mr. Song just goes like, "Yeah, no, I didn't really think that the kid looked all that different when I saw him. I was just being nice." And I'm like, "That's insane. This guy grew 2 feet and has a leg back."
Yeah, it shows the like his prior self, and again, he's like the height thing.
The height is like the craziest freaking
Like he
part.
looks older.
He does.
He's aged 10 years in a month. But I also love how like cherry blossoms are falling as all the people from the double dungeon incident are together, including healer girlfriend.
Who's not girlfriend, but kind of girlfriend, but they're weird. It's cute. I'm here for
Yeah.
it. I ship them.
I'm not gonna lie. The way that her involvement in this pans out, I'm real mad.
Yeah, I kind of wish that she was more of a character. I
No,
wish
no,
that
no,
she
no.
got the same treatment that Mr. Song did.
Real though, because like they pick up on the fact that she was traumatized because again, as we were talking about, like they only gave these people like a month before they drew them all back together and said, "Do it again."
See that makes sense, but it's the fact that she's just like, "All right, I'm also moving to an entirely different city and you'll never see me again."
She said that she had family there. That's where she's originally from. She's
Well,
going home.
Yeah,
It all makes sense.
Guys,
But
we gotta have the cute girl next door to go to a different city so that she doesn't see it when Jin-Hoo becomes a rich, famous hunter and he fucking whores it up. Because we need him to get all his hand jobs in real life too, so that everyone can have the power fantasy of like, yeah, I can have any woman I want, and I've had a lot of sex, and I've gotten really good at having sex. So that way, when I go back home to my fancy girl next door, she'll know I've had a lot of sex with a lot of people, but now I'm just willing to settle down for her.
Is that seriously what guys think? This is disturbing.
also, hi, Mr. Kim. Weren't you that guy that ran away at the first sign of danger? Yeah.
Man, this manhwa really wants to pretend like Mr. Kim was a character.
Yeah, it really does.
Yeah, the thing that kind of frustrates me is the writer in me immediately clued into what was going on, and I kind of let myself care until I remembered it was leveling and this exists cool action scenes and literally nothing else. It was honestly disappointing because like this has places where it's competent in things other than its cool spectacle action, and then it just kind of stops caring.
Well, yeah, let's
That's actually the problem with that's also the problem with Ju-hee as well. Like her actions make logical sense, but they're not narratively satisfying.
Yeah. So anyway, the big deal is there's a new dungeon and they needed these people to go in for some reason. It doesn't really matter.
They don't
But
explain why they picked the 10 people. They needed 10 people C rank.
yeah, and
'Cause that's
we
the rule.
find the other bit of world building is that they have 3 people who are convicted prisoners. And that criminals who have been convicted can work off their jail sentence if they're hunters by going on dungeon dives. And I'm like, that seems fair because these people have a talent. They've just also committed crimes. If we held hunters to any sort of like rules of law, it'd make more sense. But these are just some convicts who are allowed to go into a dungeon to kill people. And also, the guy from earlier is going in there, presumably to supervise them. And then the second he gets in the dungeon, he goes, "Ah, yes, a goblin dungeon." You know, the weird thing about goblins, they're the size of children. And a normal series would try and convince you that, don't worry, they have goblin mentalities and are nothing like children. But I want you to know this. children are fucking deadly. If you gave a bunch of knives to children, they'd be the hardest motherfuckers on earth. In fact, more superior countries to Korea let their children fight. We should actually only allow.
I love that.
And in fact, I want all of you convicted criminals to know you are going to be fighting hundreds of children in this dungeon. I want you to know, how many fucking toddlers do you think you could physically
Oh my
murder
gosh,
before they
yes.
killed you? Because you're going to have to kill all of those children, or those children are going to kill you. What the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, that we're skipping ahead to a later scene, but that scene is kind of the because it's like I enjoyed the first reading of Solo Leveling, and by and large, I enjoyed this reading of Solo Leveling. But that was the point where I'm like, oh, I'm enjoying this because I'm just not giving a fuck about the characters or story and just enjoying the pretty pictures. This is all the art. the art is carrying this 1,000. Like this is like Demon Slayer getting carried by its animation. It's the same damn thing.
Yep.
This is not like a piece of high art that is worth analyzing. This is just it's cool pictures.
It's insane because you will see Solo Leveling literally within like 15 pages of when it introduces something that's a very cliche like plot coupon, and then it immediately cashes in that plot coupon within the same chapter a lot of the time, and you're just like, oh yeah, okay, that's
Yeah,
cool.
that might as well have happened there, I guess. Wow,
Man,
Jin.
it'd be really cool if that guy who wronged me fucking apologized on his deathbed. Oh, hey, Mr. Kim.
Hey, Mr. Kim, you're on your deathbed. That purple-haired twink stabbed me. Yeah, Jinny, can you heal him? Yeah, I can heal him right away. No, don't waste your mana. I'm too far gone. Jin, Sung, I'm sorry. I never should have left you on that day. I just wanted to see my family.
Dies dramatic.
Hold on, why can't you heal him? Because magic can't replace blood.
Apparently.
Then what the fuck's the point?
So it can only close wounds? What?
Yeah, this is actually kind of the point where, like I mentioned, I let myself try to be invested in this and realized that, no, don't get invested in this. Look at the pretty pictures. This was actually the point. Oh, they're trying to have pathos with Mr. Kim and, like, acknowledging that he, like, even if he had an excuse, he still did wrong. Oh, no, is he not going to get the chance to apologize? Oh, they're having, like, he still dies, but he still gets the chance to apologize. Oh, this is all just, like, really basic and rote, and I don't actually care about any of these characters, so, like...
But Jacob, Jin-woo needs paper-thin motivation so that he's in the moral right when he is a fucking sociopath.
yeah, that's the other problem, because, it was through this arc that I was thinking about, like, what is Jin-woo's actual character? And I realized he's like 4 or 5 different characters all at once.
No, yeah, literally, he's like 4 different people. It's insane.
Because it's like he's the righteous avenger. He's the guy who is determined to climb the ranks because the bottom. He's like the powerful mercenary who just wants to be left alone. Like those are the 3 main characters, and any two of those working together can actually be the basis for a really cool character. One of the things I was thinking about is there aren't enough characters in fiction that have internal inconsistency, that have internal contradictions. A lot of times characters are like who they are all the way down. And like, for example, the thing I thought of is him being the mercenary who just like the powerful mercenary who just wants to be left alone, and the one who wants to rise to the top because he knows what it's like at the bottom. Those two identities in conflict in a protagonist, there's potential for story there. But because they make the convicts cartoon level evil, which really pissed me off, because it's like, not everyone who's been convicted of a crime is repentant ass. Just saying.
I mean, even in that case, the convicts are immediately like slaughtered by purple hair, and at that point they're equally victims. Like it
Yeah, like there's a way that you can make that work, but Solo Leveling didn't put in the legwork to do that. Which is funny because in this arc, like honestly, Mr. Song just works. Like his whole thing is actually just functional at a base. Like it's not like the stuff of Legends by any means, but it's a functional character arc. So it's like it's bits like that that like kind of almost trick me because I'm enjoying the art so much to try to get invested in solo leveling, and then something stupid will happen, like anything to do with any of the convicts from their introduction to when the last one dies.
Yeah.
It just
So,
reminds you that no, don't care. Don't care.
yeah, so the three convicts they just like murdering. That's all they're here for, is they want to kill. And then we get the speech I mentioned.
Do we have any like background about the convicts at all? They're just like former
We
dungeon
get background
crawlers.
for one of them.
One of them's a rapist.
Well, see, that's the thing. That's the implication, but we don't even know that for sure. Like there's nothing on these. They're just evil. Like they exist to be evil.
Yeah.
Yeah, like yeah. So basically, we're kind of skipping around this, but we can just say, purple guy reveals he's there to murder everyone involved because we get the flashback that he was paid by the father of the girl that the convict, who's a rapist, at least,
Yeah.
had raped her.
He was an assassin for revenge reasons.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and like there's a whole thing where he's just like, I'm just doing this out of the goodness of my heart to give a father some peace of mind. I even raised my price to try and dissuade him from going down such a shady act. And I'm just like,
What a
yeah,
noble guy.
this guy's a piece of shit. Like
Well, honestly, the fight with purple hair assassin guy was the part I enjoyed the most because the fight was great. And I will say, I do kind of like the fact that Jinwoo like looks him in the face and like it's not the face of a person who like tried to dissuade a father from revenge with mercy. Like because it's like shot on Jinwoo, then reverse shot to the assassin when Jinwoo responds, and it's like, no, you're full of shit. Like
like the entire fight is also like the assassin reveals, haha, I'm here to kill all of you because I can't leave witnesses, even though
well,
I guess.
okay. The sequence of events is he says he was just going to kill the convicts and nobody else, but the other two guys saw him, so he had to kill no witnesses. But he's also psycho and probably would have found an excuse to kill everybody anyway, is basically who this character is.
He was always going to kill everyone in this dungeon. Like that was just who he is.
I much prefer killing humans to monsters.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so he kills Mr. Kim, and then we get the whole speech about like, I was going to apologize to you, but now I'm on my deathbed, and now I am motivation for you to just do some fucking serial killer bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's just like, I will avenge you, Mr. Kim. And then there's an entire fight where the onus is, I am ranked above you. I am the best because I am higher rank than you. Maybe the B rank could give me some like fight, but she is a healer, so I will win. Wait, you are but an E rank. How can you be fighting me?
How can you have blocked my attack and seen me coming? You must have good instincts.
Mr. Song has a whole thing where he like leads him into a trap by going like, I am a swordsman, but also I have much higher magic skills, so I'm going to kill you with magic. But it doesn't matter because he's still lower ranked than the guy. He's like, yeah, no, I saw your plan from high away. This is how the world works. No one can go beyond the bonds of their levels. Unless you had some kind of ability to level up by yourself. Oh, shit.
You see, I might be a mage, but I am trained as a swordsman. Junhee, give me a buff. All right, buff. Woo! Awesome. I can now go toe-to-toe with him in raw stats, and I'm way more skilled, and oh god, I'm still dying. Fire attack! And yeah, what Matt said.
It hits him, but it doesn't do anything.
And it's two fast knife guys doing cool fast knife guy stuff at each other. At one point, purple guy pulls out a second knife to prove that he's getting serious.
Yeah, so like this fight is honestly not worth discussing because it's the trope that it is. Like belaboring that point isn't worth it. The thing I wanted to point out is, oh my god, this fight scene was amazingly illustrated. And like, okay, I normally don't like the webcomic format because sometimes it's hard to like scroll to like fit all of a panel on a page. But there was a section of this where it was just the two of them darting around, and like it used the scroll to its advantage to create the illusion of movement. And
Yeah,
like,
that was
oh my god, that was so cool. That was the point where it's like, oh right, that's why I like this, because pretty pictures. And it's such a cool fight.
But it's like cool knife guys being fast is
Cool
sure
knife
cool.
fight.
It sure is both cool and fast. It's so dumb. The moment where purple guy is like, haha, I can actually turn invisible. You can't see, hear, or even sniff me. I will now go and kill your healer. How did you sense where I was? Your killing intent was too strong, even for your camouflage to mask. Dude, that's cringe. You're cringe, stab.
Oh yeah, by the way, because you attacked me, sorry, my hands are tied. I gotta kill you because the quest says I've got to kill you or else I die. So I
Oh
get
yeah,
to murder
thanks for
you.
giving me an excuse as if he wasn't developed enough character for whether or not he wants to kill people thing. Like I love how that gets directly contradicted by like him being like, "Oh, I wasn't planning on killing you, but now the system made me." And then that gets directly contradicted after the assassin fight is over.
Like, you know,
Yeah.
the worst part about that is you fucking toying with him like a cat with a mouse, right? Like that. That's so much worse.
Oh.
But yeah, and then after this fight is over, he goes like, "Hey, you guys should leave. I'm gonna take care of some stuff." Oh, okay, Jinwoo, whatever you say. We love you.
Well,
Hey,
he's gonna finish the dungeon.
yeah, yeah. But then he's just like, "Hey, I know you're still awake." And it turns out that the rapist had not been killed outright, but just had his
One of the
vocal
3
cords cut.
convicts. Yeah. Well, no, that's the best part. It's one of the 3 convicts. We don't even know if this is like did the thing. We just know he's evil because all convicts are evil, right? It's
Well,
perfectly acceptable to kill convicts.
the strong implication is that
It's that guy, yes.
it's that guy because the purple-haired guy didn't kill him explicitly, like he was keeping him for later. So it's just like, "Oh,
Yeah,
you
to
must
kill him
have been paid to,"
slowly.
and he's just like, and Jinwoo's just like, "Oh, cool, one of them's alive. You can save him because he's a convict, so he's repaying his debt to society." That's the entire point. It's like, "No, that's too good for you. In fact, anything that he was gonna do is too good for you. I'm gonna let you get picked apart by the goblins." Why? Why are you doing this?
Be- because he's the lethal avenger in this section of panels that he wasn't literally earlier in the same chapter. It is literally the best and the worst of solo leveling perfectly illustrated. Everything of why like the actual like characters and story is trash, but it also has one of the best fight scenes I've ever seen put in anything illustrated. So this is just solo leveling distilled down to its essential pieces.
Yeah. And then he leaves, and then the Hunter Association is just there going like, "Oh man, there was some accident. Well, we better go in and get the bodies. Can't. Dungeon's been cleared. Bodies are gonna get eaten up by the ether." Oh, why? Why would you do that? That almost seems like you're covering up a murder. No, we're not.
Totally not.
We're
Also,
Totally
Mr.
not doing that
Song
thing.
did
Why
it.
would you say that?
Mr.
we're we're
Song did it.
we're gonna pretend like there's any kind of meaningful here and that this is a clever plan. I again I will defend Mr. Song because honestly I think he disagrees because like him being like, oh yeah, I was only 1 rank lower and this B rank support player was able to buff me up enough to punch above my weight class. Like I like that. Like that
That get,
actually like is logical and motivated. It's just it's the only like honestly, Mr. Song is
Jinwoo.
the only
Yeah.
character in this actual manga.
Yeah. Jinwoo, there has to be a reason that you're hiding the fact that you've uh, gained such incredible power. Whatever it is, I trust you and I love you like a son.
Kiss me now on the lips.
Wait a minute. by the way, I'm retiring and I'm moving to a different city, and even though I'm like a really interesting character that could possibly serve as like a love interest or something, just literally anything to spice this up, no, I'm leaving now. I'm gone. Bye.
I will visit you at some point to buy you a sushi dinner, but only after I have fucked a bunch of whores.
Yeah, I mean, like in a series, I feel like even her leaving could have actually been interesting, but I'm taking this at face value because reading Solo Leveling any deeper than the absolute surface level is not worth it.
There was absolutely no reason to bring her back. It makes no sense why she would come back to work after being traumatized. Apparently, she did it just to tell Jin-woo that she was leaving, but she could have done that without going into the dungeon.
Yeah.
So it's like, like she is traumatized with a capital T is the thing.
Like she actually has a real trauma response, which again, if the character if there was any more than just Mr. Song as a character in this entire manhwa, then honestly, she'd be really interesting. And if Jin-woo had a consistent characterization, again, the two pieces that I particularly liked merging, there's some potential where he could he could actually play off of her choosing to despite push through the trauma because she can help people or something, anything. But pretty
Yeah.
pictures.
Yeah. There's also the other thing about it's very clear from later in our reading that they are trying to play up the fact that Jinwoo has multiple personalities. And I want to be very clear, what me and Jacob are talking about now is not that. It's
No,
just
yeah.
poorly written characters is what's happening right now.
Yeah. Because it's like, again, I will defend Solo Leveling's art. Everything else.
What do you mean Jinwoo has multiple personalities? Was it the fact of him explicitly saying, "I feel a bit of my humanity die every time I gain more power"?
I lost another emotion.
Or literally opening a chapter with the abyss stares back into you fucking Nietzsche quote.
The full 5 pages they dedicate to some Nietzschean philosophers. Hot damn,
That was so bad.
Don't worry, I will never miss any subtext in this manhwa because it will just shout the text at me when it wants me to know something. The amount of times we'll have a plot point repeated at the end of a chapter, at the beginning of the next chapter, and then by 7 different people in the background.
So that's the end of the.
That's most of the plot.
Yeah,
that's the end of Purple Guy. So let's take a quick break.
Yeah, and then we can come back to the part of this reading I didn't like.
Oh wait.
What do you mean? There's no plot in this next section, so the worst part of this manhwa isn't here anymore.
We'll be right back after this. And welcome back to the show, folks, where last we left our level up guy, Mr. Puncher Man, real big guy out here on his MMO grind.
Man, quickest dodge to call Jinwoo a hero, and you're really good for it.
Also, I realize there is more of that goddamn plot in the way. Crap, we have to talk about the fucking talent scout.
Oh, you mean how is Jinwoo a completely justified moral actor?
Oh my god.
So this sure is a thing that happens.
We start off with what's his name, Twink Boy.
Jinho. It's very confusing.
Yeah, Jinho. He's like,
I will say, I don't think this is a Korean names thing. There are a lot of really similar names in this.
Like the fact that the two brothers are Wang Dong-suk and Wang Dong-soo, that's kind of weird, right?
And
it is.
Well, and it's like there's Jin-woo, there's Jin-ho, and then Ju-hee is the chick. Like, how many names start with the J consonant?
A lot, apparently. But it's like, yeah, here's the rest of our strike squad. We got a guy with a broken foot, we have an alcoholic, and we have a child.
By child, they mean like high schooler.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, not actually. They have babies. It's only been a month, people.
Well, they're not they're not a professional military organization, because
Yeah.
if they could harness the power of child soldiers, they would truly be a civilized fighting force.
They just got to give them all knives.
Hey, there's no law against minors participating in dungeon raids as long as they've been awakened.
There's no laws for anything if you've been awakened, I guess.
I don't know. I just really didn't like the way that was phrased.
Ugh. And I mean, like, here's another case where we get like the degree to which you can't engage with the characters or stories, or the character's story of solo leveling, because like this whole chapter 35, Jin-woo is like a goofy, like almost normal protag. Like Jin-ho shows up in like this like comedically over elaborate armor, and Jin-woo gets like one of those like less detailed silly faces and knocks him with a finger, and it's like, what happened to the like avenging murderer, or the like rise from the bottom, or the like stoic mercenary? Like, this is, I want to say it's out of character, but Jinwoo doesn't have enough of a character. This is just another random personality that exists, and again, not in the bad writing sense.
Yeah, it almost plays it up like this is a mask he puts on for like Jin-hoo, but like he doesn't do enough to really justify that, and we get his internal monologue and he clearly doesn't care. So it's
because he's not a character. He's a power built game character is what he is.
Mhm. We also briefly mentioned the high schooler, and I'll bring it up her up here again, because man, does this manhwa really want you to pretend like she's a character?
It really
She-
does.
She exists in the background and is occasionally
Yeah, the entire time I'm just crossing my fingers. I'm like, please don't make her a groomed love interest. Please don't make her a groomed love interest.
Please don't. Please do not.
Meanwhile, you've got the target audience for solo leveling going like, yeah, I wish an underclassman would look at me like that. What?
Do we know if our main character is how old he is?
I think he's college age. I think he's like 20.
Well,
Okay.
yeah, but he's too poor to go to college, so he worked construction to. I think his sister is in college, and he's putting her through school.
Yeah,
don't
with
remember.
his hunter job.
So his mom's alive in like a hospital bed, right?
Yeah, I think so.
I think
yeah.
so, yeah. So, anyway, while those two go in there and get themselves killed, isn't that one guy, Jinwoo, the weakest hunter of all mankind? Wait, that's really his title? Why did we send him in alone with the guy who bought his power with Daddy's credit card? I don't know, man. Look, we're getting paid to just sit around here, so just count your blessings while they're. Oh, hey, they're back. Oh, you bailed out, didn't you? Nope.
There's like a brief moment where the drunk is like, man, it would be bad for us if they didn't come back, wouldn't it? And my immediate question is, why?
You've already been paid. Like,
They just walk away and leave the dungeon open.
The world is not built enough that an understanding of why that would be a problem. Because it's like, I could imagine a dozen different ways in which you could actually make that a concern. Solo leveling sure as hell didn't do any of that legwork, so I'm not gonna bother.
I presume it's because casualties on the job are fairly
Reported.
rare. I would assume with how they've got
Yeah.
things like broken up into level, which would mean that if you are on a job that has casualties, that's like a black mark against you getting on a team with people in the future. So the idea would be if their like team leader died, they'd be like, "Oh, geez, that's gonna
Not
look
gonna
bad
work with
for us."
them. The other thing that I can think of is if those two can't clear the dungeon, then nobody else there would be able to clear the dungeon, and that would just leave the dungeon open. And in the first section of reading, it's distinctly established that that would be bad, because then monsters could come out into the regular world and potentially attack and hurt people, which is supposedly why the world works the way it does. But this section of solo leveling seems to have forgotten that, which is why I say I don't like. I could come up with excuses for why that dialogue makes sense. I don't care to, because solo leveling doesn't care. Look at the pretty pictures.
Yeah, this section has like a whole like deep dive into the economics of like dungeon delving, and the whole thing just seems to be like people bid for C rank contracts because the amount of money you can get is like not awful compared to what you need to spend to invest. And like they then just talk like Jinho's company has the ability to completely buy out all C rank contracts
Yeah.
well over budget. And I'm like, well, then this company doesn't need to invest in shit. It's already got
It's
way
already
more
so
cap.
lucrative. Yeah.
It's already got so much capital that it's frankly being run terribly. Like that, like they aren't investing in anything else. They've just got liquid money to throw at this hobby.
I mean,
Yeah,
it's
it's
possible. I mean, they place a great emphasis on real estate, so it's possible these companies are all propped up, primarily as real estate companies, and this is
Well,
just another
considering
play money.
every time a gate opens up, whatever building was there gets destroyed. So
Yeah.
the
that's
construction company.
that's why that's the excuse for why construction companies come up. Yeah, no, thing. There are plenty of ways where you could the elements of the economics of this world not only make sense but be interesting and operate as a plot point. Instead, we're just going to have an extortion scene that happens.
Yeah, like they spend so long talking about the business and economics of this when it's clear like very little thought has actually gone into it. And I'm like, why are we spending so long talking about the business of this when you don't care?
Yeah, we just gotta mash A through all the style.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it turns out another guild is upset because while C rank like things aren't like great, they're worth investing for like a petty economics thing.
This actually is an element of world building that's decently established. E through C is basically like standard every day. So C like gives enough money, but once you hit B, it gets exponentially like more power if you're B or up rank. The dungeons are much harder if it's B or up rank. So like C is the maximum for anyone who is trying to make money off of it. If it's B or higher, that's a like government potentially like world ending threat that needs to be dealt with as like a government function as opposed to a business function.
And the local guild, the White Tiger Guild, is upset because while they are in it for like the superheroics and like the big government contracts, what they do is buy out C rank dungeons to train their new hires, which is interesting because we do firmly establish that you can't gain power. So they send their new B ranks through C rank dungeons, I guess. Must be what's happening.
It's like training swordsmanship. Yeah, you can't gain stats, but it's practical experience.
Yeah.
Knowing when something is a trap and to avoid it, etc., etc. It's job experience.
But not job with a capital J.
Yeah, not job with a capital
Right.
J.
Very important distinction in this MMO world.
Originally, it's like there's like a mage, like you're either a mage or you're a melee, but then later on there will be like specific jobs that are outside of Jinwoo's like specific system thing.
Yeah, no, purple hair mentioned like thief or assassin when
Yeah,
he was
that's
trying to figure
true.
out what Jinwoo was. So it's like this feels like while people aren't aware of like the pop-up UIs and stuff, they do know the job system.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so maybe the idea is like everybody working on the same system, but because Jinwoo has access to the stat screen, he can power level himself or
He
power
also
build
gains
himself.
XP is the thing.
Well,
like,
yeah, that's true too.
but
So, like maybe having access to the stat screen, I could see something that paper being a thing. This manga.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, the whole thing is the White Tiger Guild is a little upset that they're being completely bought out by this newcomer for the thing, and they make the same connection literally everyone does, which was, oh man, rank E Jin-woo, the weakest hunter in the entire world. And I'm like, wow, that's really sad that that's like on your official record, not just what the people in your local like city called you.
The weakest hunter thing is a thing because they find when they look up Jinwoo, they're like, oh, everyone calls him the weakest hunter. So
Everyone calls him Dick McBaby.
Yep.
Weakest noodle arm man ever. How pathetic.
Yep. And this information is so easy to find that like the person they've got running a background check on him immediately goes, "Oh, so he reawoke. He was investigated for reawakening and they dropped the case for some reason."
I forget what happened in our first reading section. That didn't happen. Oh wait, no, there's a measuring device. I remember.
Yeah, because he hadn't actually leveled up yet.
I do wonder if he would be considered okay. I shouldn't. I'm starting to dedicate thought to solo leveling again. Never mind.
Stop.
It also doesn't matter because the guy in charge of this still suspects him. So it's like
Yeah.
But so it takes no time for this investigator to go like, "Oh yeah, no, he's definitely like a cool rookie. Let's go talk to his team." And his team's immediately like, "Oh yeah, no, we all 7 of us have just been hired to stay outside the gate while they clear it all. We're not supposed to tell you that under pain of like our NDA." Oh, cool. This is never going to come up. But
Yeah.
don't worry, because it turns out the NDA is the least of your problems, because what happens is Jin-woo comes to a negotiation with this guy. This guy's basically like, "Hey, we know you're the real muscle behind this. You must have reawakened, and there's a whole thing. You're the rookie in charge. So we're going to double whatever Jin-woo's paying you." He's just like, "Oh, cool. So you're going to give me your building? What the fuck do you mean?" "Well, he promised me his building, and his building's worth 30 billion won. How is your building worth 60 billion won?"
He said he'd give you how fucking much?
Well, that's the thing. He
Wait.
told me he'd give me a building that's worth 30 billion won. So you need to like factor in the fact that he's probably getting it at cost. So it's not quite the value of it that I'm being gifted. But from my point of view, that is how much it's worth. And they're just like, "No, we can't afford that. That's insane."
I might have to talk with some of my higher. Hey, how'd you find out about me anyway? I just sort of happened. I'm now going to use my invisibility powers to stand menacingly behind you and give
and
you a
threaten
little,
you with a knife.
give you a little cut
After
with a knife.
assaulting him, by the way.
He deserved it.
No, he didn't. That's the
No, he
problem.
didn't. He's not an attractive female character. Potentially be in the harem.
Yeah.
I will say this. Solo leveling hasn't done that yet. I'm not saying it's not going to, but I'm going to try to give this as much credit as possible so I can keep looking at the pretty pictures.
It has treated the 2 women it has very kindly.
Yeah.
It seems to have
This is a simp manhwa, and we love it.
It seems to have no interest in having more women on page, but
Because
Oh.
women are icky and scary.
I'm pretty sure it's the second one. That's the good.
they really did make a woman's rape entirely the justification for Jin-woo to
Oh
murder
god,
a
they
dude.
did for that.
They don't even
Right there.
know that woman's name, but she was
We've not
avenged.
seen her face.
But she was avenged by our hero, I guess.
She was raped and hung herself because of it. And
Oh yeah, that's the other thing element of yuck.
yeah.
She's in a hospital, right? Because they
No,
saved
she's
her.
dead.
Oh,
Yeah, she dead.
the mom's in the hospital.
Yeah, the mom's in the hospital
Yeah.
from grief and stress. Just to make it as uncomfortable as humanly possible.
Yeah.
So yeah, so we're taking
mache.
So we're taking back that this manga has great female representation.
Yeah, back to the shakedown. I love how he's like 30 billion won. No, he's got to be bluffing. I actually have like pictures of the legal documents. If you think I'm bluffing, damn it.
No, Sam, you're misrepresenting this because the manhwa pretends like this is the most intense psychological game of minds, and it's literally just he became invisible and held a knife at this guy's back and then proceeds to rob him. But the manhwa will then tell you what a great genius Jin-woo is.
Yeah.
Yeah, Darby the older, this is not.
Because there's a whole thing about he's just like, yes, well, I got because we skipped over this. Jin-woo got a job change quest, and he's just like, I'm gonna ditch all my work and do that tomorrow. But there's a whole thing about like you need to use your permits when you buy them. He's just like, well, I guess we could sell you some of our permits, and we're gonna be booking a shit ton of permits, so you better get while the getting's good. I'll charge you 300 million won a piece. That's not what permits go for. That's actually more than what is the maximum amount possible. Well, you said 200 million? That sounds fair. I'll sell them to you for that. I'll take them. And he effectively buys 3 permits at the maximum amount they could possibly earn from them. And then it turns out the very next day that they have bought none of them, and now like permits are going for 10 million apiece.
Hey boss, all the permits are open and they're on the cheap too. What?
What a brilliant strategist.
And
Yeah, okay.
I'm just reading
Damn.
the manhwa going like, no, what happened immediately prior to that was this man said, I can kill you with a thought, do whatever I say. And then you agreed to whatever terms he gave you. Like, this man stole 600 million won from you. He didn't trick you out of it. Like,
Well, no, because Jinwoo gave him a healing potion to heal the little
Cut on his cheek.
so yeah, it's totally cool.
That totally makes it okay.
I didn't realize that negates the fact that he has the ability to murder him at any point. Oh, wait. No, it doesn't.
It doesn't. It doesn't.
Mache.
The threat is still there.
I love how the guy's just like, damn, good thing our guild is swimming in money. Otherwise, I'd probably get more than a slap on the
Otherwise,
wrist
there
for this.
might be consequences to action. And then we have more fights because something interesting might happen instead.
Like, solo leveling is essentially there is a RPG with a very generic system and a plot that's happening. And Jin-woo is just the main character who picks the asshole option in every dialogue choice, but the game doesn't actually give a shit about what the dialogue choices are. So everyone just kind of plays off the insane sociopathic thing you just said as, haha, Jin-woo, what a clever negotiator you are.
Oh my god, that is what's happening, isn't it?
Yeah.
Honestly, okay, so I know this is me dedicating, but hear me out. This next section is going to have the actual alternate personality bullshit with Jinwoo. How much do you want to bet they actually are in a video game? Like that this is all actually a video game?
It would
explain a
make,
lot.
It would make things better in a way. I don't think they're going to.
So there's 2 problems with it. It wouldn't fix the problems with solo leveling. It would just make them better. And 2, it probably isn't worth it slogging through this long enough to get to that point.
Yeah.
But that is a thought I had.
Come on, let's just get Jinwoo to the handjob factory.
Dark Souls edition.
Yeah, he goes
This
to
is just a Dark Souls level.
This is Dark Souls if there were no consequences in Dark Souls, and instead of having to go back to get your souls, you just got handjobs.
Yeah, he goes to the Dark Souls dungeon with a whole bunch of big tough knight dudes, and he's like, wait, I got a rinky-dink little dagger. I can't stab big knight dudes. Good thing I've got tons of strength, so I can break their heads with my bare arms. Oh yeah, brother, what are you gonna do when Jinwoo Mania runs wild on you? Oh, it's the boss!
What the hell?
Yeah,
I really appreciated the Macho Man Randy Savage, Sam. That was really good.
Thank you.
wrestling has more of a plot than this manga.
That is true. Oh my gosh, how true that is.
But you know what? Cool fights. Look at the cool fight.
Yeah, we get the guard captain Ignis the Red Knight. Oh, I'm sorry. That's a stupid cringe name that no one should ever say.
Super cringe.
Yeah, we get Sir Alan over.
Yeah. I love how he's just like, huh, I didn't do my daily before I came in here because I thought this would be quick. Well, hopefully this doesn't take all day.
Fucking most bullshit Deus Ex Machina Chekhov's gun right there. Like,
I'm pretty sure that some of these dudes just look like Alon Knights.
Oh yeah, no, this is just some Dark Souls shit.
I thought you'd be happy.
I'm not saying I didn't enjoy the aesthetic off of just
you also keep saying Dark Souls. This is Dynasty Warriors. Like,
yeah, you're not wrong. Yeah, there's a reason why we keep saying Alan.
It's Dynasty Warriors gameplay with like Dark Souls visual aesthetic.
man, they should make a Dynasty Warriors for Dark Souls.
They should. That'd be sick as fuck. I'd love that.
Like play as full power Gwyn.
But he's like, man, I'm getting all this loot and level ups, and that's really cool and all. But like, man, I can't get the HP restore from the level ups until I finish this quest. And my mana is being spent like that was ever a thing we cared about, and my fatigue is rising up. I better be careful with my skills.
Sam, let's be honest. In this chapter, they don't give a shit about the mana being spent. Like,
Yeah.
he's almost out of mana at 4 different occasions, and he just keeps spending it.
So he goes to fight Ignis the Red. No, actually, he's not Sirlon. He's Artorias.
Oh my god, he is Artorias. Great sword and all.
Yep. So, they have big, cool action fight, much stab, very punch.
Yeah, if you're willing to have fun, it is a enjoyable fight scene.
I will admit, I did like when Jin-woo's like, all right, dagger, not working. All right, time for some crush type damage. I'm swapping to my fists. And Ignis is just like, all right, sword down, knives off, cape gone, dukes up. Are you being chivalrous with me right now? Punch in the face. That one got a good chuckle out of me. So they have a good bout of fisticuffs. Jin-woo is like, all right, cool. I'm about to lose, but time for me to go all out. Resummons his dagger and just spams the crit move to stab him in the throat till he dies.
And then
He can't stab through the armor, but he can stab between
the plates, yeah.
Then he loots the body for a really cool helmet that gives him way more stat boost than anything else. This is where we get the part where he's just like, conveniently, all of this gaudy armor doesn't actually look like anything on me. Because, man, wouldn't that be a consequence for my actions?
Wouldn't I look stupid? None of this matches.
Fashion souls be damned.
But yeah, he got some level ups. He's got his fancy new gear, and
No, he's not leveling here is the big thing.
He's got the levels, but he can't spend them yet.
Yeah.
It's like, cool, I got a whole bunch of gold. I got a cool helmet. I got
that's the end of this quest, right?
I got a new skill stone, and I got an escape rope. Why would I get an escape rope that's only good for this quest? Oh, the quest is still happening, isn't it? God damn it, portals are opening.
It wasn't even the beginning of the quest. This is the beginning of the job change quest. Stay alive for as long... Wait, yes. Stay alive for as long as possible.
Yes, stay alive for as long as possible. It will proceed to not be that.
It's so weird, because the quest seems to be structured in that he's allowed to die, but he is not allowed to die.
Because if he dies, he'd be dead.
So when would the quest end?
I think the idea is okay.
But he's also rewarded.
Fine. One last time, I will put thought into solo leveling. The idea, as I understand it, is you're supposed to survive against the onslaught knights as long as possible, and then when they're about to overwhelm you, use the Hearthstone to escape. However, Jin-woo realizes that it's a puzzle boss fight, and if you kill the summoners, then it like auto wins the you get it gives you like alternate rewards if you're able to actually defeat the boss instead of just survive for a duration.
Yeah, because his original plan was to use his camouflage skill and just be invisible for 3 minutes. And then the mages immediately find him and he's like, oh shit, I'm getting beat up. Oh no, I'm gonna die. But as I'm on my deathbed, I can't die because I am solo leveling and only I level up and I cannot leave the handjob factory. And conveniently, remember that Chekhov's gun we mentioned earlier? It's a fucking Deus Ex Machina if I've ever seen one.
Oh yeah, I didn't complete my daily, so I get sent to the penalty zone. Later, fuckers, I'm going to Scorpion Desert. Whee!
I'm going to Scorpion Desert, the penalty zone that literally only rewards me.
The penalty zone, which was really scary when I was literally brand new, but now I massively outlevel it, so I can. I can
farm it. I mean, not for, like. I like the idea of him like going into the penalty zone to get a second wind. Again, if you're willing to have fun, cool fight. But the thing that kind of irritates me is the fact that he's beating the centipedes. The centipede should level up with him. Like, he should not be able to grind XP in the penalty zone. He should be running and like use the heal and then go back is what it should be.
It's the fact that he's just allowed to stand there for like a full 20 minutes drinking his health restoring potions
Yeah,
because
like
he's now allowed to heal.
Yeah.
yeah, because that area doesn't have the healing. Because it's like again, I actually like this like from a mechanical perspective. Again, treat it like a video game. I like this from the mechanical perspective of he was in a place where he can't heal, so like one of his main things is that, you know, he'll absorb attacks until he's in trouble, use his healing item, and then get back into the fight. And now he knows the boss's patterns and he'll win. And like using the penalty zone to get around the no healing rule so he can do his regular thing is not a problem. It's the fact that he's farming the centipedes is the
So
stupid
it's the fact that he got like 20 levels and a hand job and then got sent back. Like, because he needed a break from the conveyor belt of the hand job factory for just an old fashioned in the desert, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. A nice desert reach around. So he finishes his 4 hours of farming and resting in the penalty zone.
The hand job zone.
Yeah, returns to the job up dungeon, kills
The hand job factory.
the hand job
Before-
factory, kills a whole bunch of knights, and it's like, wait a minute, why aren't the
So-
knights give?
Oh, wait, I forgot the best part. He's allowed to go to the shop in between, and luckily in the shop they have the special
the-
night killing dagger.
Matt's consternation about this is not unwarranted, but I will say this is actually my sparing compliments besides look at the pretty art for solo leveling, because he goes back to the hand job factory. It's a cool fight scene is what it is. It's basically I'd love to play this video game. The thing I do like about it though is he has a new weapon and it tells you the ranks of the weapon, and the Night Killer is just way higher stats than the knife he's been using this entire time. I like the fact that he still uses the previous one because I know that feeling. That was that was the first like major item that he earned himself. So he has an attachment to it. He wants to keep it. I've done that before where I have intentionally kept lower tier gear because I want to find an excuse to use this because I have an attachment to it. And it's like I'd already like why I enjoyed what I enjoyed of solo leveling by that point. But this is the point where it's like he's like this is a power built video game character that someone is playing. Like the fact that he's still using that is such a natural thing.
But he goes in with the Night Killer dagger, kills a bunch of knights. He's like, wait a minute, I'm not getting XP. Oh, it's because they're summons instead of actual monsters. So I need to kill the mages. But how do I find the mages in this huge mishmash of dudes? Wait, the mages could see me when I used camouflage. Camouflage! Haha, you have seen me, but I see the detector icon over your heads. And here's the part where I thought, because he got this ability from Ignis where he could remotely manipulate objects. It is set up so heavily that he is going to throw his dagger and use the commander's touch to, like, ping pong sniper elite, you know, X-ray kill, take out each of the mages in one fell swoop. He is so... It is foreshadowed twice. He's perfectly set up to do it while he's wall hanging on a sconce. And then he doesn't fucking do it.
Oh, Sam, I'm sorry. Are you upset that you're getting edged at the hand job factory? Do you not understand the point?
Factory.
I do like the part where he uses the Ignis ability to crush one of the knight's helmets. That's also
that was cool, but I was still like, damn, he could have gotten a sweet multi-kill.
Yeah, but then there would be less pretty art. You gotta have the fights. You gotta have the fight scene as long as possible. Thing that's enjoyable about this.
I guess. So he kills all the mages.
We skipped over the part where like his past self talks to him.
Oh my god, that was such bullshit.
That was so much jerking off.
I can't tell if that's supposed to be actually be his past self castigating him, or if that's like the player talking to him.
I think there's a weird thing in that, like, that's an evil entity of the game, and the game is purposely building his body to be like an avatar because he, at one point, has an internal monologue worrying that that might be the case. But, like, I don't
Yeah,
know.
That's putting too much thought into this. Look at the pictures.
pretty pictures.
So he kills all the mages, and it's like, congratulations, you have beaten the quest. In fact, you even beat the secret hidden special requirement to beat
Because
the
Handjob
quest.
Factory.
So
Mhm.
you get more super cool level up points. You get to become a necromancer. Wait,
Oh no, a necromancer? That's a mage class. That's not anything my build is even spec'd for. Oh wait, there's a special upgraded necromancer class that gives me all the bonuses I need? Ooh, that was gonna be rough.
you have qualified for the upgrade to Monarch of Shadow.
Oh, for a second I was worried the
fucking edgy.
handjob factory was gonna end, but don't worry.
This is also
Literally classes into being an edgelord. Literally.
yes, of course.
Oh yes, like normally how a fighter can turn into a barbarian, or a cleric can turn into a paladin, or a necromancer can turn into a monarch of shadows.
Uh,
Don't worry, you've also gained the hidden title, Champion Through Adversity, only given to those who are truly the underdogs that have fought their way to get exactly what they deserve, because they have been a good boy. Now sit in the handjob chair.
And now, for every % of health you lose, your stats go up that many percentages.
or something.
Yeah.
That is what it says.
Most twigged me to it's a power built character. I kind of like the idea of a character that is like powerful in direct combat but also uses summons like wear opponents down. That's a cool build. I like to try that in a game that like can support that sort of playstyle. That sounds interesting.
I like how this game can't support that sort of playstyle.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he can raise up the shadows of defeated enemies.
He's a necromancer, but it can't be like villain coded and yucky.
Cool darkness shadows.
It looks cool.
Yeah. So I
Don't
can
put
have,
any thought into it.
Teenage hot topic bull.
so I can have up to 30 shadows at a time, and I can store away shadows to be my permanent shadow army up to 20 at a time.
That would be so cool in a better series.
Yeah.
That's such a neat idea.
Wait a minute, what if I got the shadow of an A rank or S rank hunter? Or this super cool boss monster? Alright, I'm gonna banish some of the shadow guys to make room in my party for Ignis. I'm gonna pretend to be sad that I sent them to Oblivion or whatever.
He's like regretful. They're empty suits of armor.
He showed more humanity and compassion for these empty suits of armor than the human being he let be tortured to death by goblins.
Yeah.
On a whim, too. Like,
Honestly, in both cases, on a whim.
Arise, Ignis! Oh, it didn't work. Oh, it's because he's been dead for like 4 hours, right? Arise, Ignis! Ah, crap, I only have one more try to catch this Pokemon. Hey!
Ignis, wouldn't it be real cool if we were buddies? By the way, you know that king you served? He's fucking dead and he'll always be dead. I'm the only god you have. Wow, what a convincing thing you've told me.
Yes, my lord, I will serve you unto eternity. Yes, Ignis, the Red Knight. That's cringe. I'm
Yes.
just calling you Ignis.
Oh, yeah, because that's the cringe part of this.
Yeah.
Yeah, not the fact you're a necromancer bullshit wannabe, like, knife twirling edgelord.
I have super cool knife powers and high critical hit damage, and I'm super fast. And I'm also the Monarch of Shadow who can summon the dead.
Also, the weaker I get, the stronger I get.
Yes.
Hey, Jin-woo, maybe turn the visibility on that spike collar back.
No. All the way up.
Jin-woo, maybe turn on the visibility for the mom's eyeshadow pickup you got.
Thus brings us to the end of our readings. So, favorite character and favorite fight. I don't think there were characters in this, but I'll say I liked Talent Scout Man because he sure was funny as a punching bag.
He sure experienced suffering.
And I don't know, Ignis the Red Knight, because I am a simp for Artorias, and I always will be. Jake, how about you?
Favorite character. There was only one character, and his name was Mr. Song. He is the only functional character in this entire thing. Because every other character is like there's the shades of an interesting idea. We're not going to explore it. In fact, we're going to go in the exact opposite direction. But cool. Favorite fight, easy. It's the knife fight. Like holy shit, that was like.
They're all knife fights.
Well,
the knife fight against
the
Pro.
knife
Oh, the
fight
knife
versus
fight.
knife. Yeah, the knives. Because like honestly, like seeing the comic format be used to like successfully create the illusion of movement as you scroll for that fight was just so cool. Like what an amazing like visual craft, and just chef's kiss on that. I did also like the Ignis boss fight. That was also fun. But I love mobile fighters. Mobility in fights is one of my favorite things. So there you go.
Matt, how about you? Favorite character, favorite fight?
I politely refuse the idea that there were any characters in this. So
Fair.
I will just not answer that question. Favorite fight, I really liked when the talent scout got shook down by Jin-woo, and the manhwa pretended like it was an incredibly intricate mental
psychological battle.
The manhwa pretended it was Death Note right there.
Yeah, it really did.
When it was just, I threatened this man with a knife and he gave me his wallet. Also, we find out that he's got 1 million wallets at home, so really he lost nothing.
And our hero was morally upstanding forevermore. And Jay, favorite character and favorite fight?
I really have nothing else to add. This was very, very entertaining. Well, I'm not gonna do it. I'm not even. But I don't have a favorite character because they all suck. I'm sorry.
No. He
Wang
died
Dong
last
suck?
chapter.
They all suck.
No, he's been dead. Dong
all
Suck has
suck.
been dead. This
Nobody
entire
was
time.
good. I hate everything. The only thing that I actually enjoyed was you actually an edgelord. You literally classed into an edgelord. So I'm proud of you for that. Yes. And I guess if I had to pick a favorite, I guess Ignis. He's just cool.
Yeah.
Ignis is cool.
That's all I have to say.
Both fight and character. There you go.
Yes.
2 for 1 deal.
Yep.
honestly, Ignis' favorite character is fair. He had more personality than most of the humans.
He really did.
Even though he was an
He
NPC,
didn't say a word,
he had
and
more
I still
personality
felt.
than the.
Yep.
He had more personality than the main character. Actually, no. The problem with the main character is that he has too many personalities,
And
I
none
hope
of
he
them are
figures that
good. Is
out.
the
and
problem.
none of them are interesting. Yeah.
Nope.
We have a plot predictions section.
I don't care.
There's a part of me that wants it to be a video game, but on plot anything in solo leveling is probably not worth addressing or putting thought into.
Nope.
So would you continue reading?
No.
I guess if the podcast wanted us to do another one, but that's literally it.
I literally can't understand why this is so highly acclaimed. You people disappoint me. That's all I can say.
I imagine it's got the Demon Slayer thing where the anime might have cool fights, I guess.
Yeah. That's
Oh yeah, no. For me, would you continue reading? I know for a fact I'm gonna do exactly what happened. I'm gonna read to the next cool fight, and then when they start trying to insert plot again, it's gonna drop off my mind space eternally, and
it's gonna drop like a stone.
Yeah, I would only ever remember it even existed if we did another podcast.
Like,
I mean, normally I'm one of the most over analytical ones where I try to like literary analysis things that don't necessarily deserve it. But like, I don't know why, but the art is so good, I can't actually turn my brain off and just enjoy the cool fight scene and nothing else. So
So, Jacob, you would say this is the opposite of Record of Ragnarok for you, then?
Actually, yes.
Okay.
Finally, we taught Jake to turn his brain off and enjoy stupid stuff. And
Oh
it's
my
the thing
gosh,
that the rest of us
finally.
don't like.
Yeah, like for you, would you continue reading? I've got the problem was I'm not sure if I've read past this, but I didn't enjoy this. This isn't fun, and like it's almost as if someone read Death Note and was just like, "This is too boring and wordy. I wish this was the story called Light Yagami and the gun that could kill anything." And instead of a like psychological novel, it was a battle shonen where they had a tournament arc. And instead of having like deep, complicated fights, it would be, and then Light Yagami stepped up and used his gun that could kill anything. And it killed the other guy, and everyone was surprised.
Oh my god. The sad part is I'd probably read that. I'd probably read that over this.
I would 100% read like Yu Yu Hakusho level tournament arc, except the main character just has a gun that can kill everything. And we introduce the main guy, and he just shoots him dead. And then it's just like, and then he won. Wow.
Woohoo!
Isn't that One Punch Man, but with a gun?
Yes,
I mean,
actually.
yes.
Actually, yes.
Yes.
If only we could Punch Man, but
We would just have to do an extended episode because
Yeah.
holy crap, that arc is huge.
the
Speaking
format of
of
our
which-
podcast does not allow.
Like Jacob, you mentioned earlier, man, would be interesting to go into how the world works and like how S-class heroes must work, because you obviously aren't focusing on the main character because he's boring. And that's what One Punch Man does. They go into the horror of like, this world must be pretty messed up if monsters are destroying cities every other day. It is. It's pretty
Yeah.
bad.
Solo leveling, my enjoyment of it is as skin deep as it gets. The fight scenes are cool, and if you're willing to have fun, they're enjoyable for that alone. But none of the again, I like Mr. Song. He actually has a character, but like the characters are terrible, the plot is terrible, the world building is terrible. Mash A. Just mash A.
All right, and thank you everybody once again for tuning into the Over Manga Cast. As always, you can find us on all your social medias where we are at Over Manga Cast.
You can also find us on YouTube where you can like, comment, and subscribe. Those episodes go up on a 2-week delay, so if you want to catch our up-to-date stuff, you can head over to overmangacast.com. That also has a comment section where you can give us recommendations. Probably recommend something more interesting than solo leveling.
It's not hard, honestly.
Basically anything, I would imagine.
Oh, no, wait, stop typing Kagabarachi. What are you
No,
doing? Stop
no.
it!
It's more interesting, but not for the right reasons. And as always, we appreciate reviews in any and all forms. Go ahead, reach out over Moncast, give us 5 stars. We deserve it. It's such a good season. Just there's a lot of love in the air to counteract all this vitriolic hate we have towards solo leveling and Kagurabachi, who really deserve it for being edgelord pieces of garbage. But like, yeah, I'm feeling a little warm Doki Doki in my heart. I wonder if there's actually 100 warm Doki Dokis in my heart. Oh my god, I'm having a heart attack. Sam, quick, take away the ending so I can go to a hospital.
Next week, we're going to get back into our Valentine's Day tradition. It's the 100 girlfriends who really, 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 really love you. Chapters 60 through 83. How have we read so much of this? Anyway, we'll see you all next Thursday. Good night, everybody. Quick call 911 for Matt.
Good night, everyone.
It's fine. He can just use his status for...
Oh god, please let the tomboy not be weird in the next chapters. That's all I want.